This week's market trends. We cover what's next with the Compass Anywhere deal. You will be shocked at how long it's going to take for this deal to finally get buttoned up. And we cover all the latest market stats. Coming right at you, People Not Titles podcast. Matt.
Perfect.
Well, hello, this is Steve Kaempf with the People Not Titles podcast. I'm here with Matt Lombardi, my colleague, cohort, and market trends friend in crime. Matt, September 29th, 2025. This is our edition here. We have coming right out of the gate with the same lead story that we had last week, but with more details.
Yeah, so last week, 1 week into it, the 1 week anniversary of the Compass acquisition of Anywhere Real Estate. So the market had a week to sort of digest it,
yes,
talk about it, and what are the implications? What's next now? Because this doesn't happen overnight when you buy one company and for $1.6 billion in
That's
stock.
Right.
So not a small transaction. So what now?
Right.
So some key points.
Matt, and
yes.
We have not just your fine-tuned key points, but we have anecdotal market gossip and rumors.
That's what it's all about.
That's what
we
it's all
don't care
about.
about real numbers.
No, we just want to talk
rumors,
about
innuendos.
We're like TMZ light here, Matt. Okay.
TMZ for real estate.
I
like that.
What are the key points, Matt?
So just to reiterate, $1.6 billion stock deal. Compass buys Anywhere Real Estate. Combined company will ultimately control right now 18% of the market and have just over 340,000 agents. So they still got to get regulatory approval.
Mm-hmm.
So
they don't want to have a monopoly. Is that what they're...
Correct. So the regulators from the FTC and Department of Justice will look at this in totality at some point in time and give them the thumbs up or thumbs down, or they may have to divest some offices, some companies, like here locally with, I forget the national chains, but when with Mariano's and
Dominic's.
Right. And so some had to be sold. So anyway, we'll see what happens with that. My hunch is with the current administration and what's happening, this will not be considered a monopoly.
Should be pretty free and easy.
So consumer advocates worry that the merger could limit competition, reduce transparency, and pressure these brands and other brands towards private listings. But we'll see. Compass says the merger will save $225 million in costs.
So
someone's to who? I don't know.
Well, Matt, so that tells me someone is going to go.
Yep. We talked about this a little bit.
Maybe it's offices as well, probably offices and people, Matt.
We talked about this a little bit last week, how the market reacted, that being the stock market. So Anywhere Real Estate stock jumped over 45% on the news. So their shareholders in the market was very excited about it.
They liked it.
Conversely, Compass shares fell just over 16% after the announcement. They're pretty flat week over week on both.
Matt,
fronts.
and I wonder if that is the way, if Anywhere positioned themselves or mentally less than Compass, and so just the association with Compass immediately gave them value, and I hope Compass built that in to the price.
Who knows?
Who knows?
It's like it could be play money. It's stock money.
Yes.
Not hard cash.
Right.
Here's the interesting point, and I think you brought this up last week, is that Anywhere Real Estate brings a strong title and escrow presence in 30 markets, adding over $1 billion in ancillary revenue to Compass
Pretty
when
powerful.
this takes place. So I'm sure Compass looks at the totality, not just the brands, the footprint of Anywhere's family of brands, but also these ancillary services, because that's where profits is to be made.
Yeah,
not
Matt.
necessarily on the real estate transaction anymore, but more so title, mortgage, insurance, etc.
Matt, Gary Keller at the T360 event a couple years ago said, in response to the NAR settlement and things like that, if brokerages do not have mortgage and title revenue, they will no longer exist. And I think this might be a nod to the truth of that.
Yep. And so moving forward, Steve, a little point here is how is this deal potentially going to affect NAR and what they do?
Matt, and one other thing about what we're noticing with Compass Anywhere, we'll get on the NAR.
Oh, yeah.
Noticed a lot of social media brokerages talking, already putting out their recruiting spiel, Do you want to just be a number? Do you want to be caught up in their goals? Do you want to be just a stock price? So that is that narrative. And the fact that I think the merger we talked about, or we haven't maybe, that it's not expected to close till the second half of next year. And so if it's going to close the second half of next year, that means that agents and others may not feel the benefits of this merger for another 2 years out, okay, or whatever it is. And then during that period of time, there's a period of pain where you have the merging of traffic. So that is a long time to wait to see how it's going to shake out. There might be some people that if it's all going to be business as usual, status quo, might be that's good for me. I have some time to make a decision. But others might look at it and say, you know what? I don't want to be the last rat off the boat. No, not that they're rats, but I want to be the first one off the boat. So we'll see what that is, and we'll keep our eye on that.
Yep. And that you bring up a great point that this, even though it's announced and things are happening, this isn't going to formally take place for over 12 months.
Absolutely. A lot of strategy to happen in between now and then.
But yeah, when we will talk about what happens, because the industry will move one way or another, and agents out there, this is your opportunity, as always, to reevaluate where you're working, why you're working there, and if you're part of this acquisition or on the other side on Compass, if this is not who you want to be in the next 12 to 18 months, take a look around, because there's many brokerages out there that want your services.
Yeah, Matt, and it is about, if you're a leader at Compass, if you're a leader at anywhere, now is the time to reinforce your value proposition, to be the leader that keeps people there through it so they can benefit. So you got to be able to sell the vision, sell the dream a little bit, whatever that vision or dream is. Matt, let's talk about how might this deal affect the NAR?
So,
because they're concerned, Matt.
So the NAR, for good or for bad, is the industry voice. They are the voice for real estate. And so industry veterans suggest that the biggest loser could be NAR, as Compass now gains more power. Not just power, but also people and share and voice share. So both Compass and Anywhere have had friction over the last few years with NAR.
Yep.
Compass specifically with the clear cooperation policy, and I think Anywhere had some rumblings about clear cooperation as well. So from that standpoint, these two companies are on the same team when it comes to NAR.
Yeah, and for instance, if 340,000 agents decide, I'm not sending in my membership dues next year because we have another option or whatever it is, you know, for every dollar they're sending in, it's $340,000 to the NAR. And if that's a few $100s, it turns into be millions and tens and hundreds of millions.
Right. So critics are arguing that Compass could replace many of NAR's functions, from data to education, and leave advocacy as NAR's last stronghold, which I think it always will be.
Yes.
So that's not.
It might not be enough, Matt.
It might not be enough, but for now it is. And some predict Compass's new side will give it political influence and diminish NAR's clout. So yeah, for the current time being, NAR is the political behemoth that it is. But with this new acquisition, Compass and Anywhere could take on a political front of united front, separate from NAR, to lobby and get the drumbeat of Congress on their side versus what quote unquote NAR is doing.
Okay, Matt, we have an update on we talked about this a few weeks back, the broker public portal. It's now stepping into the national spotlight with a new name for its listing site, Caribou.
Caribou, I love it. So just a little refresher, the broker public portal is a consortium of brokerages, some MLSs, as well as some realtor associations. And the idea is who owns and controls listings. So we've talked ad nauseum about Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, Homes.com. They're taking and monetizing your listing information and making $1 on it from the agent side, the consumer side, and every side in between. So this consortium wants to take the opposite approach, where it's not a profitable business. It's not looking to make a buck off agents or consumers, but more be, I guess, Switzerland in the deal and put the best product forward for people to do their home search. But yeah, so the broker public portal, their new app is called Caribou, which I like. So according to Dan Troop, the CEO, he explains the name choice. We wanted something short, easy to spell, and a word that we could define ourselves with, like Redfin or Zillow. So I think Cribio's a good
Cribio
name.
sounds like one of those, Matt. And this is one of those things. It sounds like lower fees, not going to have a lot of advertising, right? Have smart search. In the boardroom, this sounds fantastic.
Right.
The question I have when I look at this is, will they be able to launch it without advertising dollars? Is anyone going to go on this app? Is it going to be grassroots type of thing? And will people ultimately shift to it instead of the options that they are so fond of today and so kind of glued to habitually?
That's why Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, I mean, they got a lot of money, a lot of investment, so they're able to parlay the data for the masses. And you bring up a great point. The funding for this is going to be minuscule compared to those publicly traded companies. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, if they can convince the agents and start getting it into the zeitgeist of the agents with their buyers and sellers, and eventually, things could catch fire. Doesn't take a lot of advertising dollars necessarily if you have value. So
there's a couple points here. It's consumer first focus. Cribio will not sell leads, referrals, or ads competing with brokers.
I like that.
The data will be returned to the industry, which I also like.
As opposed to hoarding and reselling back to you for 40%.
Exactly. So unlike other portals, Cribio will share consumer data, search metrics with the MLSs and the brokers versus this Zillow has it all, and maybe if you want it, you got to pay for it. So it's an industry-wide effort where this happens. Break-even model. So it's not a for-profit. It's not, the goal is not to make a lot of money. It's to sustain itself and break even.
As a useful tool.
Yep. And so the growth strategy, Steve, expansion will rely on MLSs coming into the fold, brokerages and brokers supporting this, and they got to pay into it. So there is a little fee for it. I think it's 50 cents per member, which isn't bad per MLS member.
No.
So we'll see. If you're looking for more information, you can currently go to brokerpublicportal.com.
Check it out.
Someday it'll be Cribio.com, but for now, brokerpublicportal.com. It'll show you the history, who is involved with it, and their future steps.
Okay, Matt, we're big supporters of NAHREP here in Chicagoland, and we are pleased to announce that they're celebrating their 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
Let's talk about them and the power of the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, Matt. Great group of people.
So NAHREP is grown. I think there's just over 50,000 NAHREP members, primarily in the residential real estate world, but in other factions of real estate. It was founded by a gentleman who is still their CEO named Gary Acosta. He started this 25 years ago. It's headquartered in San Diego, California, and they are known in their tagline, the voice for Hispanic real estate.
Wow, Matt, and they have some Hispanic homeownership growth stats. 2024 said that homeownership amongst the Hispanic community has reached almost 50% at 49, which is mind-boggling, really. What a great initiative, and I'm so glad to see they're taking a part of the American dream. Median age is 31 here. Latinos are expected to drive the housing market for decades, and they say that Latinos will account for 70% of new homeowners. So this is a big market not to be ignored, Matt.
Not at all. And NAHREP is big nationwide and very big in the Chicago marketplace as well as in Wisconsin.
Absolutely.
Because there's large Hispanic populations in both states and very active real estate community. We've been involved in different things with ourselves as well as some of our team. Are involved with the local NAHREP chapters. So very good. Just to point out here, Rocket Mortgage sees the Latino community as central to the future of home ownership. The stats you just threw out there, Steve, point to that. They're extending their reach to Latin America and Europe, so going beyond just the United States and Canada. And NAR is working with NAHREP on closing the wealth gap through home ownership. So I know NAHREP is always at the table through different NAR committees and functions.
As they should be.
As they should be. And so we just wanted to highlight 25th anniversary of this wonderful organization, and I think they're going to be a powerful voice for the next 25 years.
Matt, I love their mantra, which is if one of us rises, we all rise. This isn't about competition, it's about collaboration. And they really feel for their community that they want to be able to lift up, and the high tide lifts all boats. Congratulations to NAHREP. Matt, new executive hired at NAR. They're always making a big splash and a big hire, Matt. What's this going to do for them?
Once again, it seems like every other week we're announcing a new staffer at NAR at an executive level. So here's another new one. So Amanda Whitehead has been hired and actually officially starts tomorrow as NAR's new Vice President of Event Strategy and Member Engagement. I love how they throw these titles around.
Yeah.
I was once Vice President of Conventions and Events.
Okay.
So
this person might be sitting in your old chair, Matt.
I hope they got new ones. But yeah, so at one time, Amanda, I was doing maybe similar stuff, but your background is pretty impressive. So she previously
Congratulations, Amanda.
managed events and business development at Etihad, I don't know how to use Etihad Airways, overseeing 350 plus global events with partners like Formula One, PGA, and Special Olympics. Whitehead is going to lead NAR's, I like the signature programs. So signature programs are their annual conventions, legislative meetings, broker summits, Association Executives Institute, which just took place last month. So those are what I would call their signature events. So any events where members are getting together and they're making some money off of it.
Matt, and they want to make them more inclusive, impactful spaces for realtors. Here's the thing. You could have a wow event where everyone spends a lot of money and have the dry ice fog rolling across the stage and all that. But Matt, NAR, we're not looking for a show. We are looking for, I think, the brokerage community is looking for value for their dollar and advocacy. And so this is great if they can do that, but if they don't tie in that value proposition, they're going to still have a problem.
When you look at the percentage of realtors that actually attend an NAR event, it is minuscule. So yes, you hit the nail on the head in that brokerages don't care about how fun, exciting, engaging, technologically advanced these events may be. What are you doing to help me and my business stay alive and thrive as we move forward?
Yeah, Matt, and I was thinking there's a lot of competition for the agent buck to travel. You have NAHREP that runs great events. You have the T360 now, which has come on and has really created a substantial event for real estate professional leaders. You have Inman, you have all these different things.
You have the state associations, you have the local boards and associations.
Right.
You have Tom Ferry's and others of the world on their roadshow.
Absolutely.
So people aren't short to find a real estate event.
Right.
You know, it's
you have the mastery program, Matt,
and
which
the
you're going to
mastery
learn how to
program,
do,
which
make
is
real dollars.
I was going to say that's like probably the best investment because that's going to put money in your pocket.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Yeah,
but
we digress.
So there's a lot going on out there. So anyway, good luck, Amanda. She'll be reporting to their newer Senior Vice President Elizabeth Rano, who was hired a few months ago. So just the staff changes keep coming on at NAR. So
we'll keep our eye on it, Matt.
So someone asked me, "Hey Matt, do you still know anybody at NAR?" And I got to say, I probably know very few people left there anymore. So,
all right.
Sorry, everybody.
Yep, Matt. So moving back to local here, Chicago City Council passes new legislation on coach houses. We talked about this a little bit ago.
Yep.
They sometimes call the coach houses granny flats.
Yep.
This is kind of you got a home out the back or whatever it is where someone else can live, or your kids keep coming back and you want them out of the house, you stick them back in the coach house. What's happening there?
So after a year-plus negotiation struggle back and forth, the Chicago City Council passed a compromised bill.
Okay.
Where, people are going to look at this.
People Not Titles podcast is brought to you by Land Trust Title Services, your partners for results.
People are going to look at this and say, fantastic, I could build a granny flat or a little coach house on my one single family home in my backyard or over my garage. You probably can't. So this is it's become limited in scope. So what the original intent was for all 41, 51 wards of Chicago, everybody would have under the same guidelines. If you have the room, if you can get the permitting, you could build a coach house in your backyard with certain specifications.
So it's going to impact a very small percentage of people.
Very small percentage of people. So Alderman Marty Quinn, who represents the 13th Ward, he was the main guy saying, we cannot have what this is. And so the negotiation, so it's, because this is Chicago, nothing is simple. It's a ward by ward opt-in.
So it's still going to be the give and the take, Matt.
So Chicago, which is wonderful, we're a big city, but we shouldn't have as many wards and alder people as we do. That's my own opinion. Aldermen and women are the kings and queens of their little fiefdom.
Who's the alderman of your fiefdom, Matt?
Anthony Napolitano is our
good
alderman.
Irish guy.
He may have some Irish somewhere in there, but yes, I believe was not only a police officer but also a firefighter.
Well, imagine that.
Which mixes very well in my neighborhood on the far northwest side of Chicago. So local aldermen can give the stamp of approval or the thumbs up, the emperor's thumbs up or thumbs down.
So Matt,
whether these can take place.
If your mother-in-law calls you this weekend and says, I'd like to come over for dinner, just know she might be setting up for the granny house in the back.
So be aware of who's coming over, and if they're especially looking out your back door and back window of, that's a lot of space back there.
Yeah, you got room, it looks like.
So,
I got the permits here, just sign here.
So depending on the ward you live in, so using my ward, the 41st Ward as an example, it's mostly single-family homes. There are certain
These aren't
rules.
huge lots, right?
Some are large, but due to the single-family nature, and they want to create and keep the neighborhood as it is, they don't want all this. So in my neighborhood, I can't imagine there will be lots of coach houses happening. But in other parts of the city where there's multi-units, et cetera, there will be more freedom and flexibility.
And that might be a way, Matt, for some of these communities that are trying to attract different folks in, or whatever, to say, hey, listen, we're going to be friendly in this area. We have some larger lots, and people might look at it as a play to make investments into the neighborhood.
So one side of the alderman, alderwoman community wanted this for everybody. We have a housing shortage of over 120,000 units.
Want some affordability.
Right. So it makes sense.
Yep.
You know, and just thinking on a lot like mine that's very narrow but very long, I probably could put a coach house in the back. But I'm
Jerry's
not,
listening
but
right
I'm
now,
not,
Matt.
Don't
Jerry,
get
move in, move in.
That's good. So, you know, the supporters want this and think it's a good idea because it will generate more housing units. The opponents say the compromises give too much power to the aldermen. Plus, there's a large labor union requirement to it that I'm not going to get into. But you have to use union labor. You have to have an apprenticeship program through the laborers. So it's not like you and I can go in my backyard and start jacking up a coach house. There's a lot of stuff.
You can't build a chicken coop, though, in your neighborhood.
Chicken coop's very popular.
All right.
Very easy to do. No permit necessary. And by the way, in the city of Chicago, you could have an unlimited amount of chickens in your space.
That's
which
good to
kills
know.
me.
It's good to know. Matt, let's get off this and let's talk about the mortgage rate snapshot. Where are we at? We heard the Fed cut, and all of a sudden, rates popped up.
So
come on, Matt.
So we talked about this a little bit. So the rates have been cut by the Fed, and mortgage rates are up very slightly by 10th to 20th.
A little bit. 6.4 on the 30-year, right, to 6.5. And what's the 15 at?
5.5 to 5.7%, depending on all factors that we know about, credit rating, location, etc. Still not bad. Year over year, I think it's a little higher than year over year, but it's close. And we'll see with the additional 2 to 3 rate cuts that people are predicting. So that's just our mortgage rate snapshot.
Where are the market stats, Matt?
Because
let's hear it.
We are at the end of September, and all the numbers come out at this time for the previous month. So for August of 2020,
we have the
2025
numbers,
on the national scale. So for the U.S., total sales are essentially flat year over year. There's a 0.2% decrease month over month, and just 1.8% increase year over year. And they are still estimating 4 million units will be sold by year end, which has been the case the entire year. We're still waiting for that pop. We thought with the Fed rate cut and what we see in the pipeline, it may move up a little bit.
Maybe it will, Matt. Maybe this
Yep.
fourth quarter will be something to scream about. Matt, where's the home prices at?
So median existing home price is now at 422,600, 2% year over year up, and it's the 26th consecutive month of price increases. 26
Amazing. It's
months.
still trickling up, Matt.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Total inventory is 1.53 million units, which is month over month down just over 1%, but year over year almost at 12% up.
And the supply, Matt?
Supply of unsold homes is unchanged month over month at 4.6 months. Once again, the stable ideal market is around 6 months supply, and we have not seen that.
So we're
Man,
under,
I
we're
haven't
still,
seen.
Yeah, we're still
It's been
undersupplied,
a
Matt.
long time. Just some market insights and
Yep.
buyer trends from NAR. Median time on market is 31 days. That's slightly up from 28 last month. First-time buyers accounted for 28% of sales. Cash sales, 28% of transactions were all cash sales, slightly down from 31% last month. And investor second home buyers, this is a good one, 21% of transactions were by investors and or people investing
So
in a
Matt,
second
that is
home.
2 out of every 10 transactions in the country are investors.
Yes.
And that's just another plug for the Andrew Holmes and his mastery program, teaching people how to get their piece of the 800,000 different transactions that are done by investors. You don't have to wait on the sidelines and wonder what it's like. Just show up at the mastery program they're going to have, and you can learn about that.
Yeah, November 21st, 22nd, and 23rd in Oak Brook is their next, what they call the cash flow conference, where they go dig deep into what you need to know to get started in investing, and you will learn from people who are actively doing it and have had trials and tribulations along the
Absolutely.
way to give you the benefit of their experience and knowledge, so you may
And
not
failures
have, right, so
and
you may not
successes.
feel the pain.
Matt, I thought it was interesting too that distress sales are about 2%. You know, people talked about, short sales this, foreclosures that. Nope, not happening right now.
Few and far
between. Small
If you-
percentage of the market.
It's funny, over the weekend I wanted to see what's out there foreclosed, if there's auctions. Not a lot in the Chicago marketplace.
Yes.
There's stuff out there,
Yep.
but not like you and I may have remembered.
Absolutely.
Like how it once was.
Matt, let's get to the specific. We had national. Let's go to the Chicago. What do the numbers look like
So
here?
Chicago metro region.
This is August.
August, Chicago metro region, which is the 9 counties in and around Chicago. Home sales, home sold, down 4.3% year over year. So in August, 8,395 homes were sold, which is 4.3% last year over year. Inventory right now in August was 14,312 homes on the market, a 4.6 decrease year over year, which is crazy.
Yep.
And the median home price is up year over year.
Makes sense. So Matt, you have the sales are down, inventory's down, so you're going to see sales go up. Once we see that more homes on the market, you're going to see prices, I think, level off.
And one thing that is impacting inventory is the people pulling their listings. And this is not just locally, but nationally as well. When a home seller has their property listed and they are not getting the price they want, instead of putting it back on the market for a lower price, they're just pulling it because they don't care. They'll stay there.
Absolutely. Matt, let's talk about Wisconsin quickly.
Wisconsin, monthly home sales is up just under 2%. Statewide listings is up almost 5%, and median home price is up just over 5%. So sales,
Wisconsin market looking good, Matt.
so sales just over 7,000 in August. Listings are at 23,000 in August, and the median price is now at $338,000 for the state of Wisconsin, which is just crazy. Every month, just another.
Wisconsin
Keeps going
leveling
high.
up. Matt, we talked about new home sales. We talked about Warren Buffett's investment into these construction, new home builder markets, and we see new home sales rebounding. What's happening there?
So in August, new home sales shocked everybody with the amount of sales. So sales of newly constructed single-family homes jumped to an annualized pace of 800,000, the highest since January of 2022, 20.5% higher than July, and over 15% above August of 2020. So
Matt, and could it be for such a long time with inventory being the word, all of a sudden you have now the home that, once inventory became tough, they started breaking ground, they started buying ground, they started building, and now these units are starting to come onto the market and they're starting to fill the demand, which may also have home prices leveling off a little bit.
So a lot of the factors that impacted this jump in sales is lower mortgage rates, but also huge builder incentives. There's obviously carrying costs for builders to carry these properties, and if people aren't buying them, they're going to incentivize them to buy them. So there were huge builder incentives, which helped coax buyers off the sidelines, and 39% of builders cut prices in September. So that's a couple of the main reasons why sales jumped in August. So there's now a tighter supply. New home inventory fell to 7.4 months supply.
Still 3 months higher than existing homes.
Correct. And the price trend, so this flipped. It used a month or two ago, it was existing homes were selling more for the new homes. It's now flipped back where median sales price of new homes is $413,500, up 4.7% from July. So regional differences, Midwest saw a plus almost 13% increase, but the Northeast, a 72.2% surge.
A lot of building in the Northeast, Matt.
Obviously.
And Matt, it just tells you the Midwest is steady, Freddie, not too high, not too low, just rising, just ever slowly. Cautious optimism, Matt. Experts warned the jump may be short-term, driven by builders offloading their inventory.
Yep.
So this may not be something that happens, for the rest of time. So anyway, it's
the good
uncertain.
thing is that Steve and I and Market Trends, we're going to keep an eye on all this and report back to you.
Absolutely.
What's happening.
We keep our finger on the pulse, Matt. September 30th may be a government shutdown tomorrow.
Yeah, just to point that out there is, everybody is anticipating that come Wednesday, October 1st, that there will be a shutdown in government. How will that impact real estate? Not a lot, but from a consumer sentiment.
You might actually feel the money staying in your pockets, Matt, now that the government is shut down.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. They're going to get you one way or
what
another.
What if they shut down for like 5 years and we never noticed, Matt?
As long as the FAA and the air traffic controllers don't shut down, I think that's important.
Law and order we want to have.
But so we'll keep an eye on what happens with this potential.
And we'll see the impact of the markets.
But so the only thing that I would say from a Market Trends industry standpoint is just consumer sentiment. Maybe let's wait and see what happens. We're going to wait until you guys figure it out before we do something drastic.
Matt,
all right, Steve.
Matt,
let's do it.
Matt, okay, listen. Big day in Chicago sports. So first off, congratulations to our Cubs. Matt, you predicted 90 wins. I predicted 91. The Cubs got to did they sweep the Cardinals this weekend?
They swept the Cardinals
sweep the Redbirds this weekend. That's a good
satisfying,
feeling.
Happy win.
You don't even have to make the playoffs. Just sweep the Cardinals for the last. Just remind them out the door they go.
Yep.
Get your golf clubs. Get your golf bags, Matt. Because you're not in the playoffs, and we are.
92 wins, 3 games, potential games at home against San Diego. I was reminiscing with Steve.
Steve Garvey.
Oh, yeah, 1984
and the heartbreak
Cubs.
of 84.
Oh, man.
That was rough. I remember when I was watching those games as Garvey was hitting homers and running around.
I was a freshman in high school, and no access to the TV, so I was listening to it on WGN.
Jack Brickhouse probably, Matt, or
Harry Carey. Lou
Boudreau. All right.
But and so congratulations to the Cubs. I think they start tomorrow afternoon.
They start tomorrow, 2:08 for 3 days in a row.
We should have a little watch party here.
Maybe.
And how about...
the Bears.
What a ugly, lucky victory.
Yes, but we'll take it, Matt. We've lost a lot of these type of things. The double doinker, the blocked field goals.
Right. Everybody anticipates
different stuff.
I will say I, like most people, anticipated the worst outcome and were shocked when it did not happen. So my sons and I were watching the end together, and we were at the end high-fiving it, going crazy.
Yes, Matt.
Very exciting.
So yesterday with the shift, the game was in Las Vegas. and there were more Bears fans than Raiders fans. So they are going to rename Las Vegas Chicago Part 2. So we have the Super Bowl trophy. We're America's team. And now, because of the Bears' victory, they're actually going to rename Las Vegas Chicago Part 2.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Interesting
that's
take.
that's a new thing, man.
All right, good to know.
So now we are on track for however many games there are. Two
wins.
Losses. Yeah. So
Two
we
wins.
have 2-2. Are we into bye week right now, Matt?
Bye week, so no game.
No game. Everyone can relax.
And next week, we're taking the week off?
Yes.
Okay, so
we're taking the week off. Well, once it's a bye week, Matt.
Yeah, so Market Trends is also taking a bye week.
That's right.
In honor of the Bears bye week.
Yeah, and so we will be back the week following, Matt, with 2 weeks of news.
2 weeks of breaking news.
Oh, my gosh.
Digest it down to you in about 30 minutes.
You know what, though, Matt? Jerry can listen to reruns. And those reruns hit well, over a cigar and a cold beer.
Absolutely. We have so many episodes in the archive.
Oh, my gosh.
And if you want to check and see maybe some of our predictions, go back. I'm sure there's some good ones in there.
Absolutely. Hey, a lot of people are binge watching Market Trends. It's a big thing right now. They're trying to say, guys, stop watching Market Trends. That's not the only thing on.
I want to give Steve props. We have now 1,000+ Instagram followers. So
thank you, our followers on Instagram.
Following
People Not Titles on Instagram. If you're not following, just put down your cup of coffee, press pause on this, and follow us, and then you can come back to listen to the end.
But yes, very exciting stuff.
Thank you.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Absolutely. People Not Titles podcast, signing off. Hey, thanks for listening to the People Not Titles podcast. We are proudly sponsored by Land Trust Title Services. If you enjoyed the podcast, please hit the like button, please subscribe, and we'd love it if you'd share our podcast with your friends. Thanks a lot.